This is the beginning. This is the beginning of June 22. And we are reaching the room of the Last Supper, the Cenaculum. And you actually have a lovely name of it in French. Sin. Sin? Sen. Which is, in Latin, it's to eat. The dining room. Okay. Then we are heading to the dining room, but before that, you can see here a beautiful church. Sadly, it's closed because we can enter that church. We could enter to that church, and this is the house of Mary. The place that she fell asleep or died. Don't look for it in the Bible, but the Catholic and the Orthodox believes that Mary was sinless, then she couldn't die. Remember? Then in that case, we're heading to I think the most important room for us this week, because it's Shavuot, which is one of the Jewish festivals that every Jew must be in the city, and it's Pentecost. Both of them happened 50 days after Passover or after Easter, which this year is actually at the same time. You can see here a very important sign that they are, I didn't see it 2 days ago, and they are welcoming the Jews who are visiting the city. Remember, you must do that. And it's the festival of King David. The last letter with a blue background, it said David, the king of Israel, is alive. It's still here with us. But we are heading to there, to the room of Last Supper. Now, the room of the Last Supper, it's a horrible name for a special room. So many things happen there. For example, the preparation for the Last Supper, and then the Last Supper itself. But what's happened in the Last Supper? At the end, he said, one of you will betray me. He meant Judas. But he ate the bread and gave the bread to his disciples and said, this is my body, eat it. And then the wine, this is my blood, drink it. Or for the Protestant, remember it. Then in that case, this is the first mass ever. I mean, in every church, every day we have service like that. But who was the priest? Jesus himself. Then for me, the room of the Last Supper, it's the first church ever. And it's not the end, because 50 days after Easter, the disciples were inside the room when holy fire went down from the sky, and people started to talk in different languages. And the message was, spread Christianity all over. Then it's not only the first church ever, it's the center of Christianity for me. And now when we know it, let's climb up. Mount Zion, ooh, my favorite drink is here. It's the taste of life, isn't it? That is for the festival that they're going to have, I think, Saturday night. Now we already know that the upper part, the upper room, which is another room of the Last Supper, or the room of the Last Supper, is above King David's tomb. Think about that. A church, and then beneath it, it's a synagogue. They didn't like it, and let's see what's actually happened because of it. Look how beautiful is the Dormition Church. I think it's one of the most beautiful churches in Jerusalem. Dormition. Before we will go in, because the acoustic, it's beautiful, isn't it? Before we will go into the room of the Last Supper, let's talk about another thing. Jesus and the disciples sit in the shade. Did you ever a place in the shade? Jesus was at Mount of Olives when he told the disciples, go to prepare a room inside the city. Because the festival, you must do that inside the walls. And at that time, Mount Zion was part of it. Then they went to an upper room. Why an upper room? God told the Jews who lived here, you must give a room for every family that comes for that festival. Now, are you going to let stranger into your apartment? No, but you might give them the roof. Then in that case, it's the upper room. At the 16th century, the Jews didn't like the idea that, the Christians didn't like the idea that the Jews is there. They wanted to build it for themselves. The Jews right there didn't like the idea that Christians are above them. They wanted to build it for themselves. Then they went to the Ottomans, which decided to take that room, that building for themselves. King David was our prophet. Sorry, dear Jews, go away. And then they came to here and say, Isa, Jesus, is our prophet. Go away, dear Christians. And they turned it into a mosque that was served Muslims until 1948. 1948, it became part of Israel, and now it's a synagogue. And sadly, I must say, that part's supposed to be a church, but it's still owned by Israel. Now let's go in, and the first question that you might ask me, where was the table? At that time, we didn't use table. We used to sit on the floor. Then let's go in, and you will see a beautiful Crusader room together with the mosque. Then let's be together because there are so many people here, mainly because of one reason. Pentecost is now. And in Pentecost, the Catholic will have rights in that room. They will have their Mass right here. Then what we can see here. Look how beautiful is the Crusader arches. And if you look there, you can see the beautiful structure. That is called the mihrab. Mihrab is when a Muslim enters to a mosque, he must know where to pray because he's praying through Mecca. Then now we know that Mecca is right there. Look at the beautiful stained windows from the time of the mosque with the Quran. I think it's part of the Shahada even, as I believe. And if we'll come to here, look at the beautiful tree there. Can you see the metal tree?
Yes.
This is a present from the Pope. The Pope gave us the tree and he said, Judaism is the base of Christianity and Islam. If you will cut the trunk, you will die too. Then it's better to share everything together instead of to hate everyone. I really think that this is a beautiful idea. Then now when we know it, can we go out? And let's go to see the tomb of King David? Let's do that. Yeah, you're right. From there. Can hear the bells of the Dormition. Then inside the tomb of King David, I won't be able to talk. Then can I talk about it here? We already know the story. King David was important for the Christians, Jews, and Muslims. For the Jews, he was the second king. His mission was to take those 12 tribes into one state of Israel. The Messiah will come from his dynasty, and this is the story of Christianity. And he was a very important prophet for the Muslims. Today, as you already know, it's a synagogue. Then we will have to put the kippah on the head or the hat, like you. And then the women will go to the women department, just like at the Western Wall. The men will go to the men department. The first room will be a synagogue. The second room will be half of the tomb. Half it's in the women's side and half it's at the men's side. Are we ready to go there? Remember, this is the best days to visit the tomb of King David and the room of the Last Supper. אל תדאג, יש לנו מקום. אם אני השמן עובר, כולם יעברו. asking about the party. I want to be here. Then you can see that it's King David's tomb. Let's go in. Keep a view.
Where is the closest place to the Holy of Holies that 2,000 years ago Jews can go to?
Keep a view. Remember the message, don't, if someone stops you, beware.
Jews that want to go today as close as they can.
We already went to the women department, we are going to the men department. This is the first part of it, and the second one is at the women department. French? No, thank you very much. Go and see the tomb. The big party will be from Saturday evening until Sunday evening. Then don't forget to subscribe my channel. Whoa, if you want to know more, I have more than 20,000 videos on my YouTube channel. You can ask me whatever you want. Thank you very much.